I've taken your dinner. Alright, let's begin. Okay, so how the flow will go is I will cover algebraic formulae first, okay, making the subject, followed by quadratic equations, and then quadratic graphs. Okay, so three main concepts over here. Okay, I didn't classify into chapter because some of you all may be using different textbooks, right? Okay, so just quick self-introduction. So my name is Shannon. I'm the lower secondary math tutor for Overmarked. Okay, I went East Spring Secondary, then I went Jurong JC, then I went to NTU and graduated from there with a major in chemistry. Okay, I've been teaching for 3 years. I'm currently a full-time tutor as well, and I have around 18 classes now. Okay, so I'm really sorry I couldn't get like the free notes out in time for chapter 5 and 6. Right, but 1, 2, 3, and 4 has been uploaded in the Telegram group. So if you haven't seen them yet or you want the free notes, okay, do join the Telegram group for the lower sec. Okay, the Overmarked lower sec group. Alright. Okay, yep. So stay to the end because there is one secret tip to help you improve your grades. Then you will also stand a chance to win one set of curated notes. Okay, so first one, algebraic formula. Alright, let me switch over to the notes. Okay. Okay, so changing the subject of a formula. So why is this important? Okay, this is also related to your signs. Okay, for example, let's say I have this equation, right? Distance equals to speed times time. What if I want to find speed, right? How can I find speed? I make s or speed the subject. And how do I do that? I divide t by, I divide both sides by t. And that will allow me to get my speed, right? So I just made s the subject so I can calculate my speed, all right? So there's some overlap with science for this part over here. That's why I decided to go through this changing of subject, okay, which I find is very important. All right, let's look at the first example. Okay, so this is just from the curated notes. I will go through a few examples and then we will try some of it out. Okay, we'll try some exam questions out. All right, so for this example, make x the subject for the following formula. Basically, I want to make my x on the left side and 1 unit. Okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so how do I go about it? I move everything that doesn't have x to the right. So in this case, I'll move my 2y across the equal sign. When you move things across the equal sign, remember to change the sign. And then I will have z minus 2. Okay, and how can I get 1 unit of x? I simply divide both sides by -3. Okay, remember this is a equation. Whatever you do to the left hand side, you must also do to the right hand side. Otherwise, you'll be changing the equation and they will not be equal anymore. Okay, that's the first example. So far, can you understand? Very basic, right? Perhaps give me a emoji if you understand. Then I'll move on. Able to understand? All right, looking good. All right, can understand. Any questions, you can type in the chat as well. All right, okay. And then moving on, let's look at B. Okay, now I have a fraction, right? And I want to make x the subject. So fractions usually are quite ugly and how to say, they don't look nice, right? So I get rid of the fraction by, okay, multiplying the equation by 5. Okay, but before that, your x is on the right side now, right? Remember I told you you want your x or the subject to be on the left side. You can, of course, swap places. So the term with the x go to the left side and then my others go to the right side. Okay, I just simply swap side in this case. Okay, and then I times 5. Okay, when I multiply the left side by 5, I have x minus 3. When I multiply the right side by 5, I have 5y squared and 10 respectively. Okay, and this -3 is extra. So I move across the equal sign, giving me this. And 10 plus 3, I can further simplify. I get 5y squared plus 13 as my final answer. Okay. Then let's look at the last example. Okay, for your C, I want to make x the subject, right? So this is extra. I move the 7 across and I get -7. Okay, and over here, is there anything else? Oh, there's repeated steps here. Okay. And I have x squared. To remove the square, I actually need to square root both sides. Alright, after square rooting both sides, then I can get 1 unit of x. And take note, when you square root an algebra or a variable, there's two possible answers. Because if I square root 4, for example, I can get positive 2 or negative 2. Why is that so? When I square 2, like square 2, okay, 2 square or square negative 2, I will get 4 for both. Right? So there's two possibilities. When you're dealing with variables, you want to consider all possible answers. So when you're square rooting a variable, usually we have to consider the negative answer as well. Alright? But usually when you do your calculation, let's say if it's a number inside, usually we just take the positive value. But if you are square rooting a variable, that's when you have to consider the positive and negative answer, right? Which are labeled over here. Okay, let's look at any more. Okay, just a few more examples. Okay, now let's look at some harder examples. These two concepts are mainly tested in your exam questions. So the first one, make x the subject of the formula, same thing. But what you realize is that there is two terms with x now. So I need to shift any terms with my x to the left side. And I have this, right? Okay, and my 3y go over, I have positive 3y. And what can I do? Okay, I actually need to extract out my common factor and common variable. So you will notice that I actually factorize out 4x. That will give me 2 minus y inside, right? And then I'll simplify like this first. I will divide both sides by 2 minus y first. After that, I will divide by 4. Okay, and eventually I will get this. Alright. Okay, so consider factorization. When you have multiple terms with the subject, usually you will need to perform factorization. Alright. So far, okay? Right. Take a while to digest. Is it okay? Hopefully it's okay. Too fast, too slow, do let me know as well. Put in the chat. Okay, let's look at the next one. Alright, the second commonly tested concept will involve square root. Okay, so you have a square root here. Just now I told you that if you want to get rid of square, right, you have to square root. Right? If you want to get rid of square root, you have to square. Alright, so if I want to get rid of this square root, I have to square both sides. But remember, how do I square both sides? What it looks like is like this. Okay, common mistake is that students will just square the 2y. So I get 4y square and then minus 3 square, I get minus 9. Okay, common mistake lah. Okay, you have to square everything inside the bracket. This bracket is very important because you will arrive at a different answer. Alright, so after you square that, this is actually your algebra special identity for your expansion. This gives you the a square minus 2ab plus b square variation, right? Okay, and then you just throw everything that don't have x to the right side, giving me 4x equals this. And I want to find 1 unit of x, I simply divide everything on the right side by 4. Okay, yep. So this was the common mistake that I was mentioning about. Alright. Okay, then let's look at some examples now. Okay, coming back here. Alright, you guys can try these examples. Perhaps we just take a few minutes and then once you're done, just private chat me the answer, right, that I can help you check. Then I will go through as well. Alright, perhaps take 1 minute for the first one. Any questions can type in the chat as well. If anyone is lost so far, can text me as well. Alright, most of you are getting it. Okay. Alright, I'll go through now. Okay, so don't forget the X inside over here. Alright, some people forgot the X over here. So I need to shift the 2y to the other side first and shift my 3y to the other side. Right, then I perform factorization. I can have this. Then I will get okay. Oops, 2. Okay, then now I make my x alone by dividing by 2 and bracket 2 minus 2y. Okay, some of you got 4 minus, no, yeah, I made a mistake, yeah, sorry. This is y, this is y, okay, 2x, 2, okay, yep, it's correct now. Okay, yep, some of you got this, is fine as well. Okay, both is fine. Alright, so don't forget, there's x inside. Yep, those who are faster finish already, you can continue trying. Alright. Because different people have different pace, right? So I listed a few questions over here. If you finish faster, you can go on and try the rest. Okay, so for B, you want to get rid of the square root, you have to square both sides. My left side square root is gone. And remember to put inside the bracket. Okay, y square plus 3 square is not correct. Okay. From here, just do your normal expansion. Hopefully you all can memorize this special algebra identity. Even if you cannot, let's say exam you forget, you can always do the longer way, but you will still get correct. Right? Do your rainbow method, right, to expand. Do you need help for B? Okay. Okay. Okay, this is the first answer, and your B, this is your answer for B. Okay, when you make the subject, right, let's say you want to make X a subject, your right side should not have any more X, alright? Oh wow, some people are really fast. Okay, is it too hard? Okay, so do formalize with the square root concept and the factorization concept, right? This is commonly tested for your exams. Okay, for those who are faster, this is your answer. Some of you got this. How should I put it? Okay, like that. This is also correct for C, alright? For your part C, you all have to do cross factorization. Hopefully you all didn't forget. This was taught in secondary 1. When you have a fraction, one on each side of the equation, you can perform cross factorization. Why? Oh yes, there is plus minus. Good call, good call. You're right. Sixty-one. Okay, I will go through. Alright, let's remove the answers first so I have space. Alright, starting from question 2. Okay, square both sides. And you have this. And I simply move my minus 1 across. Okay, this is for your part B. For those who are still processing, I'll put it up here. Okay, let's go to part C. I perform cross multiplication. 4x times x, I get 4x squared. Okay, do your rainbow method expansion. I will get this, and then I simplify. Minus 3y plus y gives me... Okay, whenever you make the subject, remember to put your subject on the left. It's just by convention when you present your answer. Alright, and then I just divide by x squared first. Divide by 4. Okay, and then I'll square root both sides to get rid of the square. And as one of you have pointed out, I'm square rooting a variable, so there's plus minus. Okay, this is for your part C. Alright, I'll move your part C up now for you to process. Okay, this is for part C. Okay, let's look at part D. Okay, do you all find the questions a little too hard? Perhaps. Why for part C, the y still have? Okay, for part C, why the y still must have y square? Okay, when you square root everything, okay, you are, how to say? Okay, let me see. Over here, let me move this away. I need space. Okay, for example, this question, right? Okay, someone asks, why do I still have the square over here? Okay, whenever you square root something or square something across the equation, okay, you have to change the whole thing. Means like if I want to square this whole thing, I have to square this whole thing as well. I cannot just square selectively. Okay, and let's say if I want to square root the whole thing, I cannot square root selectively as well. Okay, and I cannot just change this to like y, because it actually applies to this whole thing. You will actually change the value. Alright, I'm not sure if I've answered your question. Is it okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, the last part. Okay, this one got many methods, alright, so depending on how you see it. So same logic, you want to square something to get rid of the square root, you have to square everything on the left side. Okay, so put inside bracket. You want to square this thing, right? You have to square the whole thing like this. Okay, so I have this. Okay, let me move up. And then just do your algebra expansion for y square plus 2 times 9 plus 2 times 2, 36. Okay, when you square this thing, what actually happens is that you kind of like expand in. Alright, so at the top you will get 64, 8 times 8, and then now you have your x. You want x to be alone, so you just swap places. X equals 64 over 4y squared plus 36y plus 81. Alright. The less common one, the harder one is this one. Okay, but this one, and this one you will probably see in your exams. Why is 64 on top? Because oh, you all cannot see, is it? Okay, so you see from here. Okay, so do one by one. I times x on both sides first, alright? And I have this. Okay, then I need to bring across this whole set to the other side. Okay, 4y squared plus 36y plus 81. Okay, so this is why 64 is on top. Alright. Okay, I'll move on. Okay. Okay, these are your official exam questions. Okay, you can spend 2 or 3 minutes to try. If you're fast enough, you can try both. Alright. Then I will move on in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, these are actual exam questions. Okay, I'll just put the answer out here for you all to check. Yep, some of you all may actually see this in your school worksheet also, quite common. This is actually the easier variation already. There's actually one that actually they added one more. Yeah, makes it even more complicated. Okay, square both sides. Then you times 2x on both sides. You have x here, you have x here. Shift, oops. Okay. Shift everything with the x to the left side. And how can you take out your x? Right, you just factorize out. And I want my x to be alone. Right, so I just divide both sides by 2y. 2y squared minus 1, and I'll be able to get this. Alright, so you can see they will test the square root and they will test the factorization. Okay, for this, before you can add fractions, you have to make the denominator the same. So similar to primary school, I times w over here. That gives me w over uw. Okay, I times u over here times u below. Okay, the right side I don't do anything first. Okay, wait, this is a plus. Okay, now they have the same denominator, I can add them together. And now you realize I have one fraction on each side of the equation. I can perform cross multiplication. This will give me this. Okay. And then I want my v to be alone. I want my v to be the subject. And I will get this. Alright, are you guys okay? Who is with me? Can give emoji. Okay, can catch. Okay. Alright, yeah, so this is one of the most important algebra concept I would say, because especially if you do pure sciences, you'll be seeing or using this quite often. Alright, you'll need this concept. Okay, I will move on. Okay, quadratic equations. Alright, okay. Uh, Go on. Okay. For quadratic equations, there are two ways, okay, that you can so-called factorize it. Okay, now we are solving a quadratic equation, so we are basically finding out what's the value of x, possible values of x. Alright, so there's the box method, or you may hear it as cross factorization method. Okay, and there's the multiplication frame. So I'll quickly go through the box method first. So the first step is that you write the terms in the box as shown. Okay, x squared and minus 20 over here. Okay, and the middle term, okay, over here. Okay. After that, you identify factors that can give you the terms when they are multiplied vertically. Okay, up and down. So multiply them like this. Can you get this term or not? Alright, these two have to be factors of this term. These two have to be factors of this term. Okay. After that, you multiply the terms diagonally. Okay, so that's why some people call it cross factorization. Oh my gosh. Wait, clear. Let me erase. Okay. Okay, after that, you get 5x. Okay, if you're going up like that, and then you'll get minus 4x like this. Okay, as you cross diagonally down. Okay, and then you add up these two. Okay, so on the right side, right, you have to add up, not multiply. And do you get the middle term? Okay, as you have written in the first step over here. So there's a bit of trial and error involved over here. Alright, if it doesn't work out, then you probably need to try other factors, or maybe swap the sign here and there, right? Okay, so consider those, keep trying until you get the terms over here. Okay, so this is the box factorization method. What about multiplication frame? Okay, similarly, you write the terms over here, x squared minus 20. Okay, after that, identify factors, very similar, it just looks visually different, alright? Okay, identify factors of x squared. So x times x should give me x squared. And minus 20, right? So perhaps 5 and 4. Okay, 5 times minus 4, or minus 5 times 4. Okay, consider 2 and 10 as well, or 20 and 1. Those are possible factors as well. Alright. Okay, and then next step. Okay, and you then complete the multiplication frame. Alright, so I need to calculate this number lah. So how do I get this number over here? So 5 times x give me 5x. Okay, then the number below, x times minus 4x give me minus 4x. Okay, then how can you check? Okay, these two terms, when you add them up, right, they should give you the middle term. Okay, so very similar, it just looks different. Both methods are acceptable. Alright, so up to your comfort level, see which one you prefer. Okay, if it doesn't work, remember, swap the signs, change the position. Yep. Okay, and hopefully it works out. Okay, so over here. Okay, so for those who want easier questions, you can try this. For those who want to challenge themselves, you can try this. Okay, the only difference is that there are additional steps for this lah. Alright. Oops. Okay. Yep, seems like some of you got it for you to check. Okay. Okay, take note to leave your answers like this, alright, for your exam. Usually the keyword is to solve. When they ask you to solve something, basically they are asking you to find out what is x, what is y, what's the variable. Okay, but of course this working is also important. Alright, sometimes you don't write that, they penalize you. Everyone doing okay? Need me go through any? Okay, so someone asked how to know when to reject. Okay, when you are doing this kind of question, not the problem sum kind, right? Just simply ask you to solve. Okay, do not reject anything. Later I'll go through the problem sum kind where you are required to reject certain answers. So for this one, don't reject. Okay. Okay, so for your A, okay, basically factorize out common factor or variable first, if possible. You realize that everything is divisible by 3, right? So you take out 3 first, and then you will get this, right? Okay, then you perform your box or multiplication frame. Your numbers are smaller, easier to deal with as well, right? So that's the extra step for part A. Okay, for your part B, what you can do if you don't like the negative sign, just shift all the terms to the other side of the equation lor, and then you will get this. Okay, so these are things that you can consider so that things look nicer or more familiar to you, alright? Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the problem sum kind, alright, where they test application of quadratic equations. Okay. Hopefully you all remember your distance speed time formula. Okay, let's try question 1 first. 1 mark, very simple. Do you all know how to get? I want to find time. How can I get time? I'm given distance and speed. Okay, some of you may memorize the triangle. Some of you like straight lines. Some of you like the fraction. So see which one is easier to remember for you. Okay, to find my time, time is distance divided by speed. Alright, to find my time. Okay, alright. Okay, so I simply take distance divided by speed, right? Yeah, 6 divided by x. And I get 1 mark for this. Alright, okay, what about B? Alright, nothing too hard over here. Yep, that's right. Okay, then after you form these two equations, usually question will require you to form an equation, okay, and then make it become like this. Alright, so let's try to piece the information together. Okay, using these two equations, okay, given that the total time taken for both journey, okay, is this amount of hours, form an equation in terms of x. Okay, so how can I use these two information here and form a new equation? We add the bracket. Uh, do you know how to form an equation using these two? Okay, so some of y'all ask whether need a bracket or not. This is optional over here. Okay. Okay, so what do I know? The total time taken is 1 hours and 3/4 hours, right? 1 whole 3/4 hours. Okay, total time taken, so I need to add both of them up. Okay, and 1/3/4. Right, if this is ugly, you can always change to improper, so that's easier to work with as well. Okay, 7/4. Hopefully you all still remember how to change to improper. Alright, what do you all do next? What's the next step? Do you all know? Mm, okay, over here we shouldn't be making x the subject. We should be solving for x, or at least try to get this quadratic equation. Alright, so some of you, yeah, okay, okay. Okay, so usually what we do is we have to combine this side first lah, okay, into one fraction. Okay, so make the denominator the same. Okay. Yes, but we cannot magically remove the denominator. Alright, then I get this. I expand in. I will get this. Okay, I can simplify 6x at the top. Right, I plus them together. I get 12x. Okay, so on top is 12x plus 12. Okay, cos 6x and then plus 12. 6x plus 6x is 12x. Okay, now I have this. And remember, now you have one fraction on each side of the equation. You can cross multiply. Okay, so top left, keep on the left side. Okay. And I will get this. Okay, let me move up. Okay. Then I will expand the right side. Okay, hopefully you all can see some resemblance now. Okay, so basically we are supposed to show that we can get that quadratic equation. Okay, so 7x squared, I move everything to the right. Okay, so 4x go over, minus 4x. Oh wait, there's something wrong over here. 48x. Okay, so I shift the 48x to the right, become minus 48x. Okay, I shift this 48 to the right, become minus 48. 14 minus 48, okay, that will, wait, did I miss something out? Oh, here's x, okay. Okay, let me restart, sorry. Move up. Okay. Let me restart over again. Okay, so 7x squared, I move everything to the right. Alright, 48x go over. 14x minus 48x, I will get minus 34x. 48 go over, I get minus 48. Okay, then my left side is 0, right? So I just simply flip over and I will get this. Okay. Okay, so this has some overlap with your previous chapters as well. Okay. Is it okay? Can I move on? Any confusion? Even if you cannot get this, you can continue the next part. Alright, for exams. Okay, so don't worry, don't panic. At least try to get the A and B lah. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, then now they ask you to solve. Right, so you see this word solve means basically find x or calculate x. Okay, unfortunately, this number shall big. Okay, you can use your calculator to actually help you solve also and get the values for x. But if you do that, remember to present your working like that, equals 0. Then your x equals what? Or x equals what? Okay, so just take note of that. Alright, if you are unsure of how to use the calculator, do check with your friends and teacher because some of you may be using different model lah, so it's very hard for me. Okay, minus 48 will be here. Minus 34x will be here. Okay, what number is good? 12 times 7, nope. 7 times 8, 28, 12, nope. Let's try 8 and 6. 8 times 7, 56. 6. Nope. Okay. Yep, Sharini, close. You might want to check the sign. Okay. 6 times 8. Okay. This looks like it'll give me 34. Okay, so usually what I like to do, right, is I write the numbers first. I don't care the sign first. Yep, I just want to see whether these numbers can give me 34 or not. Okay, and I realize that, oh, if I minus this, I can get 34. Then I just put the negative sign inside. Okay, and I will get 7x minus 8. Right, thanks for those who are helping me out. Okay, you write this, and then you will get x equals, oh, did I, minus 34, so sorry. So it's here. Plus 8x minus 8. Okay, this will give me minus 34x. Then this will give me minus 48. Okay, it's correct now. Okay, x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so this equals 0 or this equals 0. Okay, x equals negative 8 over 7, or you can change to mixed number, or x equals to 6. Okay, so this is the part whereby you may be required to reject one of the answers. Okay, sometimes there will be an exam question, why is one of the answers rejected? Okay, so in this case, you have to reject your x. Why? What is your x? If you recall, x is actually the time taken for Jessica to ride the bicycle. Time cannot be negative, so in this case, we have to reject this answer, right? And this will be our answer. So calculate the time taken in hours for Jessica to cycle from her house to school is just x equals to 6. House to school, yeah, 6 hours. Okay, so this will usually appear in your paper too. Okay, oh no, okay, actually can. Okay, alright, this will usually appear in your paper too. Okay, anything to clarify? Is it okay? Where is? Oh, okay. Okay, nothing. Alright, looking good. Okay, let's go to quadratic graphs now. Okay, back to the notes. 103. Okay. Alright, so in secondary 1, we all learn about linear graph. Linear graph basically is your straight line graphs. Alright, and then in secondary 2, we learn about quadratic graphs where they are curves. Okay, so usually you will see this kind of equation. Okay, if you plot them out, okay, you will actually get curves like this. And you will get a smiley face or a sad face depending on the coefficient, okay, the number of A. If A is positive, okay, you will get a smiley face. If A is negative, you will get a sad face. So what do I mean by that? So example, okay, this will be a smiley face graph. Okay, this one is -1. So this is a sad face graph and this is a positive face graph. Okay, for example. Okay, so the coefficient of A and the sign actually tells you whether you get smiley face or sad face graph. It tells you the shape only in general. Okay, let's look at some observations. Okay, that's how I mentioned the first two already. Positive, smiley face, negative, sad face. And one thing else as well, the greater the magnitude simply means number of A. Okay, my A over here is 1. My A over here is 2. Okay, excluding the sign, just the number. I'm only interested in the number. The sign tells me the smiley face or sad face, but the number actually tells me how steep the curve is. Right? This is something that we can observe. Okay. Okay, but these two is the important one. This is just like for your information kind of thing. Okay, similar to a straight line, the value of C is equal to the value where the graph intersects the y-axis. Okay, so you can see my C over here is 1. What do I mean by C, right? So just now you have this general quadratic equation. So this is C. Okay, this C is called the constant, is your y-intercept. Similar to your linear graph. Linear graph equation is y equals mx plus c, and your C is the y-intercept. Alright, so over here the C is the same, exactly the same. Okay, the C for this graph is 3. So you can see that it cuts the y-axis at 3. This one is 1, it cuts at 1. Okay, so this is important as well. Okay, alright, this is the y-intercept. Okay, moving on. Okay, so features of a quadratic graph. Okay, x-intercept is where the graph cuts the x-axis. Just now we have the y-intercept, right? It's where the graph cuts the y-axis. Okay, and then you may be asked for the turning point. Okay, in this case is the minimum point. Okay, this is the lowest value of the graph. Okay, sometimes you may see this being asked as well, the line of symmetry. Right? What is the line of symmetry such that the graph gets cut into two equal halves? Okay, you can see if I cut like that, the graph, right, kind of like split into two equal halves. Uh, oh, sorry. Okay, pardon. Uh, okay, sorry. No wonder so many people messaging. Okay, I'll go through this again. Alright, so previously in Sec 1, we covered a linear graph, which is straight line graphs, right? Okay, like this or like this, straight line graphs. Okay, but when you have quadratic equations in this form, okay, you have curves like this. If your A is positive, you have smiley face. If your A is negative, you have sad face. Okay, and then let's look at general observations. Right, just now I mentioned already, the coefficient means the sign, okay, actually affects whether you have a smiley face or sad face. And then in this case, the greater the magnitude of A, the steeper the curve. Okay, so in this case, your A is 1, your A is 2 over here. So magnitude, okay, does not look at the sign, only look at the number. Okay, 2 is greater than 1, right? So you can see that the slope or the steepness of this purple curve, okay, is actually greater. Okay, and this 2 is the important one, and this one is just FYI, right? And this one also is important. So the value of C is equal to the y-intercept. Okay, is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So you can see 1. Okay, this graph cuts at 1. This one is 3. This graph cuts at 3. Okay, so this point 1, point 2, point 4 is the important one. Alright, moving on. Okay, features of a quadratic graphs. Okay, you have the x-intercepts. X-intercept is where the graph cuts the x-axis, and your y-intercept is where the graph cuts the y-axis. Okay, questions may ask you for the line of symmetry. Okay, it's where the line cuts the graph into two equal halves, more or less. And your turning point will be along the line of symmetry. Okay, and your turning point can be a maximum or minimum point. Maximum or minimum point. Okay, if you have a smiley face, you have a minimum point. If you have a sad face, you have a maximum point. Basically, what is the highest value of the graph and what is the lowest value of the graph, smallest value. Okay. Alright. And something to take note also, how do you present your answer? When questions ask for coordinates, you have to put it inside bracket and x, right, comma, y. Okay, this is how you should present your answer when question asks for coordinates. Okay, when question asks you for x intercepts and y intercepts, you simply write like this, right? Or y equals like this. Okay. And presentation for a line of symmetry, usually questions will ask you for the equation of the line of symmetry. You have to write x equals to what? Okay, so let's look at this example. Alright, for this graph, the x-intercepts, okay, is -4 and 1. Okay, x-intercepts are. Okay, but over here it's coordinate, so I present it like this. To find the equation of the line of symmetry, we actually have to find the middle point of the two x-intercepts. Alright, so how do I find the middle point? I just add the two x-intercepts together and divide by 2. It's like finding the average. And that will give me negative 1.5. And if you were to follow the blue line, okay, this is your 1, and this is your 2, negative 1, negative 2. Right, so the line of symmetry is presented as x equals negative 1.5. Okay, if you just write this, you will get penalized. Okay, remember, this is a equation. Equation, you need to have equal sign. Right. Okay. Is there, Alright, okay, then let's try a exam question, going back to the slides. Right. Okay, there's two exam questions to try. Okay, so for this kind of question can appear in paper 1 or paper 2. No graph is given to you. You have to purely solve it using mathematical logic. Alright, so a quadratic graph has the equation like this. State the y-intercept of the graph. Should be easy, right? Okay, yep. Okay, most of y'all got it. Okay, so let's say the graph equation is like that. Okay, remember to state -5. Don't forget the negative sign. But over here is 16 lah. Okay, yeah, most of y'all got it. Okay, state the coordinates where the graph cuts the x-axis. Okay, so where the graph cuts the x-axis, example only. Okay, let me put it like that. Okay, the graph at these 2 points, right? Okay, along these 2 points, your y coordinate is actually 0. So it's like something 0 and something 0. Okay, and then how can I get the x coordinate? I need to make my y equals 0. So whenever you want to find the x intercepts, you make your y equals 0. Okay, so I have this equals 0, and then you realize this is just solving quadratic equations, which is what we did just now. Okay, so for this question, you are not required to draw a graph, but if it helps you visualize, you can draw. Yeah. Can we use quadratic formula? Yes, you're supposed to use quadratic formula. Wait, quadratic formula. Okay, quadratic formula is taught in upper sec. Yep. Alright, so depending on your school lah. Right, just now we learned how to solve quadratic equations using the factorization method. Right, the cross factorization, the box method, or the multiplication frame. Okay, that will give. Okay, I need to work this out. Okay, and if you do the cross factoring, okay, I want minus 6x, so the minus is here. Okay, this gives me x minus 8. Careful of the sign. Plus 2. Yep. Okay, so the x intercepts will be 2 and no, negative 2 and 8. Alright, then how can you find the line of symmetry? Can you remember? Okay, you need to add the two x coordinates together and divide by 2. So 8 minus 2, I get 6. So it should be 3. X equals to. Why am I doing something wrong? Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so to get the x equals to. Right, so after you solve the quadratic equations, you get this. Okay, it should be this. So minus 2 plus 8 is 6 divided by 2 is 3. Even if you do this, okay, you should be getting 3. Plus and minus is minus. Plus and minus is minus. You are adding the two x coordinates together and then divide by 2. You are trying to find the average. Can? Okay, so the equation for the line of symmetry. Where did the 2 come from? This one? Is it this? Which 2? Okay, I'm trying to find the average, okay, the center of the two x coordinates. Remember the over here, oh, okay, show you. Okay, so back to this example just now. Okay, remember that I always have to add the two x coordinates together and then divide by 2. What I'm trying to do is find the average or the center between these two coordinates. Okay? Yeah, so hopefully that clarified. Okay, so that's where the 2 come from. Is it okay? Okay. Alright, so remember equation for line of symmetry. Do not forget to present like this. Okay, so some extra questions that they may test. State whether the graph has a maximum or minimum. So basically it's asking you like that or like that. Does the graph have a maximum point or a minimum point? Can remember how to tell? What should you look for over here? That tells you the shape of the graph. Smiley face, sad face. You understand the question? Okay, so to determine whether the graph have a maximum point or minimum point, okay, ask yourself, does the graph have a sad face or happy face? Can you remember how to tell? Okay, previously, right, I mentioned we look at the coefficient of A, means the number in front of x squared. Over here, my A is -1, right? So I'll be getting a sad face. Since I'm getting a sad face, the graph will have a maximum point. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to ask. Ken, is it clear? Okay, any confusion over here? Alright, looks okay. Okay, then now determine the coordinates of the turning point. So previously we established that the graph intersects at these two. So let me try to do a rough sketch. -2, -8, and so this is 8. This is -2. Okay, the graph cuts at 16. Okay, and just now we established that the line of symmetry is actually 3. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see why the line of symmetry is x equals 3 and not x equals to 5. Because the center of this is actually, let's say x equals 3, right? So I have 5 units over here and 5 units over here. Remember, the line of symmetry cuts the graph into 2 equal halves. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see why it's x equals to 3 over here. Okay, and what else do we know? Just now I mentioned that the turning point will lie on the line of symmetry, right? And then we know that the coordinate, the x coordinate of this turning point is 3. So what we can do, okay, to find the y coordinate is to substitute x equals 3 inside over here. Okay, so whenever you are substituting something, it's a good habit to write inside brackets. You key into your calculator so you don't make careless mistakes. Okay, 16 plus 18 minus 9, 16 plus 9. Okay, my y equals 25. Can you understand? Any confusion for this part? I found that my line of symmetry is x equals to 3. My turning point will always lie on the line of symmetry. Right? So I substitute this x equals to 3 inside over here. I can find my y coordinate. I know this is 3, but I don't know what is this. To find this, I substitute x equals to 3. And then I found it is 25. Okay? Then the last one. It is given that 2, p lies on the graph. Find the value of p. Okay, so similar over here. I have one value. I know my x is 2, right? So I throw inside Okay, y equals 16 plus 6. Okay, 28 minus 4 is 24. Okay, so the value of p is 24. Okay, so you realize that you don't need an actual graph to refer to solve all these kind of questions, right? And it's optional to sketch the graph. Only in upper sec then you are required to sketch the graph. Okay, for lower sec, they don't usually require to sketch the graph, but you can try drawing if it helps you to see better. Okay, and then I'll go here. Okay, so this is how the graph looks like if you were to plot it. Okay, you can see this is -2, this is 8. Okay, and where is this line of symmetry? Is x equals to 3. Okay, so this is how the graph looks like if you were to plot it out or if they give you. Okay, and you can see the maximum point is over here. The highest value of the graph is y equals to 25. Alright, anything else? Okay, then just now, okay, yeah. So just now we found the turning point is 3 and 25, right? Coordinate, so remember to present like this. And then they tell me 2 and p, right? So I can actually, if the graph is given to you, okay, you can actually just go and find the graph. 2, 2 will be here. Okay, and you can see it's actually 24. Alright, so you don't need a graph to actually solve this kind of questions. Alright, so this is the mathematical way. Of course, sometimes they will test these questions, but after they ask you to draw the graph, and this will be in your paper 2, where they ask you to sketch a graph. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, yeah, so it will look something like this, alright, in your paper 2. So usually they will ask you to calculate unknown coordinate first. Calculate A. So how can you find A? You substitute x equals to 4 in your equation. Okay, and something to note also, this is still considered a quadratic equation. Oops, wait. Okay, even though there is no c, right? My c is 0. So means the graph will cut the y-axis at 0. Okay, this is also a quadratic equation. You realize your x is missing here, right? But this is also a legit quadratic equation. What's important in a quadratic equation is you have the x squared term over there. Okay, so this is just an example. Okay, so even if you have your c missing here, okay, don't freak out, it's still a normal quadratic equation, just plot accordingly. Okay, and I substitute x equals to 4. Okay, x equals to 4, and then you solve. 4 squared is 16, 16 times 4 minus 64 plus 200. Okay, I have 6136. Okay, then 136. After that, you go and plot your graph. Okay, okay, we are kind of behind time. I will show you how the graph roughly looks like. Okay, but before that, okay, before you plot your graph, always ask yourself, where should you position your graph? Okay, what do I mean by that? You realize that there is no negative value for your x, right? Okay, so position in such a way. Okay, this towards the left side. Okay, your paper is like that, right? Position in such a way, left side. Because you don't have any negative x value, right? So shift your y-axis to the left. And over here, you realize your y also don't have negative values. So your graph should look something like that. Right? You don't need the negative region over here, neither do you need the negative region over here. Alright, so before you actually plot the scale or the axis, always look at where you should position your graph. Do you have negative values? Do you have positive values? Alright, and then you count over here. So 2 cm is actually one big box that contains 10 small square. Okay, yeah, and then over here, then yeah, smooth curve. Okay, so how it looks like. Okay, will look something like that. Remember to label your axis, y and x. Sometimes they can change, so label accordingly. Okay, don't blindly just write y and x. Label your graph as well, the equation. Okay, show all the plots. Alright. and your axis, make sure you label properly as well. Okay, and this will give you your 3 marks. Alright, then now they say using your graph. So this is the part whereby you need to rely on the graph instead of the mathematical theory that you learned in the previous question. Okay, you need to show you're working on the graph. Okay, so find the values of x when the rocket is 80 meters from the ground. Okay, your y is the height, right? So I find 80 meter and then I have this value. I go some more, I have another value. So I actually have two values of x. Okay, sometimes you can take hint from the question, you realize they put an S over here. So means you probably have more than one answer. Okay, and what if this is, what if you don't have the graph, right? If you don't have the graph, this is the y value. I can actually do this. Okay, so technically you can kind of play cheat to check whether your graph accurate or not. Okay, then you solve for x also. Okay. Write the equation of the line of symmetry. So standard question. Okay, you need to go and find which part or how can you cut the graph into 2 equal half. Okay, so if you look closely, it will be this point. Find the x value of this point. Alright, and that will be your answer. Find the maximum height reached by the rocket. The maximum height will be somewhere over here. So you just read across the graph. They're asking you for the maximum point basically. Okay, and similarly, you can always substitute, right? Let's say your example, let's say you found out x equals to example 6.2, example only. Okay, then you substitute x equals 6.2. Inside here, you can actually find your rough value for your y. Okay, so this is how you can do a quick check to make sure your answer actually falls within the range. So the graph will look different for different people, as in the values might be slightly different. So the answers that the teachers have usually occurs over a range. Yep. Okay, so if you have time during your exam, you can always use the method that we learned previously in the previous question. Right, substitute here, substitute there, and then you check the values of x and y, and then see how accurate you are. Okay. Okay, so we are coming towards the end. Okay, hopefully this is beneficial for you. Alright, so let your brains rest a while before we begin the Kahoot and the giveaway. Okay, so one secret tip I have. Okay, as simple as this sounds, by your mind blown, you will get mind blown. Why? Because, okay, this sounds very simple, right? Not some rocket science, right? Do not repeat the same mistake. Okay, I think many of us are guilty of not doing corrections properly, never copy down corrections, right? That kind of thing, never do homework properly, right? So you will find ourselves repeating the mistake a lot of time. And why is that bad? Because if you keep repeating the same mistake, right, you will memorize the wrong thing. You want to correct it, it will be a very painful process. Yeah. Imagine you have been doing the wrong way for like 3 years, because upper sec, right? Sometimes the math I see their sec 1, sec 2 foundation, not strong. Right? They've been doing the same mistake for 2-3 years. It's very hard to correct. Okay, it will be a very painful process. So correct it during the lower sec, establish good foundation, and then when you go upper sec, it will be much easier. Alright. Yep, so clarify any doubts and misconceptions that you have with your teachers or friends as well. Okay. Yep, so this is the tip that I have for you. Very simple, but very practical as well. Okay. And yeah, whatever you all seen just now was part of the curated notes. Okay, the curated notes consist of key concepts, trending exam questions from 2018 to 2021 so far. Alright, exam tips and common mistakes to avoid. Alright, you can get it on the website as well. Okay, yep, if you are interested to join the group class, it will be on Tuesday 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Currently it is online, but hoping to transition to physical. I think physical more fun. We'll play like games and stuff. Yeah. Alright, and then learn together. Okay, it will be a spatial outcome if it's a physical lesson. Alright, fees is 35 per hour, which is 52.50 cents per lesson. Okay, first trial lesson is free. Okay, then there will be a free curated notes sent to you as well when you officially join the class. Curated worksheets consisting of the trending exam questions, right? Have you prepare better, okay, for the exam. So when you see, oh, this is something familiar, okay, you won't panic. Okay, and then generally I'll be following the Discovering Math textbook. I know some of you all use Xingli. For now, there will be a bit of deviation, but eventually we will all converge and learn the same thing for secondary 2 syllabus. Alright, but let's say if you were to join a class and you are following Xingli textbook, then we'll see how we can work out lah. Okay, I want everyone to benefit at the end of the day. Okay. Alright, so we are here at the giveaway. Alright, so go grab your pen, your paper, and your calculator. You may need to scribble some workings down because some of the questions are like have many parts, right? Like just now you see the graphs and stuff, they're all related, so you need the previous part answer. Alright, so you need to refer to it lah. Okay, then let me go prepare the code. Alright, so unfortunately there will only be one winner of the curated notes. Okay, and this is the code. Ignore the number of tabs. Alright, y'all can join the Kahoot. Yep, try to use your actual names, alright? So later, take picture, get your details if you win. Right, it'll be easier. Okay, any more? Perhaps 1 more minute. Okay, who's the missing 4? Are you there? Okay. Any more? Last 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No more? Okay. Ah, who left? Is someone left? Who's the 24th person? Anyone need me to wait? Where's the 24th person? Wait. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8. If need me to wait, text me. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one asked me wait, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, first question, no marks. Just try only. Maybe I got Sean face. Okay, next one. Uh-oh. Cuts the y-axis. So the x-coordinate should be 0. Okay. Can right? When you draw like that, cuts the y-axis, your x-coordinate is 0, right or not? Okay, it should be negative 18 lah, so down here. Okay, so take note. Okay. Okay, the questions are quite tricky, so take note. Don't choose so fast. It's just slightly longer. Wow, how you all so fast, yeah? Oh, there's a typo, I think. Okay, skip. Okay. Okay, sorry for those that get that. That should be 3x minus. The below one, D should be minus 3 minus 6. Okay, who got D? Sorry about that. It's not a negative sign. Okay, let's see. Okay, who chose D? Can you all sound out in the chat if you remember? If you remember. Okay, carry on first. Line of symmetry. So use the previous part. Remember. Oops. Okay, so remember for line of symmetry, add the two x coordinates together. Right, in this case, I have right, minus 3 plus 6 divided by 2 is just 3 over 2, which is 1.5. Okay. This is the line of symmetry. Oh. Okay, so how to find the value of y? Remember the minimum value or maximum value is the turning point, right? So in this case, you have a minimum value of y. You know that the line of symmetry is x equals 1.5, right? So I substitute x equals 1.5 inside, all right? And then you will be able to get this. Can I say? Okay, so these two ways that they can test. They can ask you to find a minimum or maximum value, or they can ask you the coordinates of the turning point. Can? Is it okay? Okay, move on. Anything unsure later, just ask me after the quiz ends. Okay. Okay, quadratic equations. Okay. So distance divided by speed, right? Time equals distance divided by speed. Okay, 90 over x. Next. Okay, y'all can expect what's next, right? Second equation. Okay, so same thing, distance over speed, 3 km faster, so plus 3. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay, so sometimes exam questions will test something like this. Just now, what I went through in the slides was the easier example. Okay, so which one should come first? Okay, over here, 90 over x. Which one will give you a bigger number? This one should give you a bigger number because you are dividing by a smaller number. This is x plus 3, is a bigger number, right? Here you are dividing by a smaller number, so you will get a big number. You are dividing by a bigger number, you get a smaller number. Right, so that is why you get 1.5, right? Like this. Okay, so big number minus small number. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay, this is quite common in exams as well, whereby which one come first? Okay, if they give you the difference, big number minus small number. Alright. Okay. Okay, last question. That's longer. Take your time. I give you all hint. Square both. Shift the one over. I understand this is quite hard for some, right? Okay, shift the one over. Square both sides. Okay. Oh my gosh, I think there's a bug. Don't know why is it same answer. Oh, wait, is it the same? Yeah, it's the same. Don't choose this. This shouldn't be the answer. This one shouldn't have square root. I don't know why got square root there. Oh wait. Ah, okay. I need to work out. I don't know what's the right answer. I divide by 2y. Then I square root. Yeah, there shouldn't be any mistakes. Not sure why. Okay. Anyone else pick red? This should be 4y here. Alright. Anyone Final choice? Now I'm going to skip, it's a bit long. Anyone else chose weight? Yeah, I'll skip. Who's the other two that chose weight? Okay, so how to get weight? I mean, how to get the answer? Why does it not make answer? Yeah, cancel this. Okay, do you all know how to get the answer? I don't know why it's not allowing me to undo. Okay, it's there. Okay, so this is how you get the answer. Okay, and remember square root, then you have plus minus as well. Okay, and next. Okay, this is not a question. Okay, most of you all seem to be okay. Alright, so that's the end. Okay, let me see who chose the duplicate answers now. Okay, let's see this first. Okay. Alright, let me screenshot this. Okay, Shan, two same answers. Alright, so sorry for the bug. I'm not sure what happened. I just checked the answers yesterday. Alright. Yep, that's the end of this. Okay, then I will go back to this. Okay. Alright, so actually, do you have the curated notes yet? Okay. No, okay. Alright, so that's the end for today. Sorry I over dragged a little, and sorry for the Kahoot thing. Right. Okay, so that's the end for today. Hopefully you all benefited. Okay, for Ashley. Okay. Alright, yep, you all can leave already. That's all I have for today. Okay. Yep, welcome. Okay, yep. Any of y'all got questions can stay and ask as well. Yes. Uh-huh. Subject combi, why? Uh okay. Oh, okay. Alright. Okay. What's your question, Victoria? Yep. Okay, your school doesn't offer pure humanities, just combine humans. Okay. Yeah, elective means combine humans, that's right. Okay. 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 I can't seem to find on. Is it a smiley face? Is your mom online? If not, I see a smiley face. Okay. Right, I'll contact. I'm texting now. Yeah. Mm, Alright, I just texted her. Is she beside you or something? Okay. Yep. Alright. Yep, you want you can leave lah, I suppose. Yeah. She texted back already. Alright. Thank you.